You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Is Bino Jeff Henderson fired up, focused, and prepared today? Because I totally am. Let me turn myself down here so we don't blast anybody out of... we're live at Calhoun's on the River. We're very excited. First of all, it's a great day to be alive and well with you here at Calhoun's on the River. Bino, how we doing, my man?
Tony, outstanding. Good to be here with you.
We got Hugan coming up on the other side. Bino, we got all kinds of stuff popping and happening, and they're getting ready to change the playoff format once again because why not? I mean, we can, so why not do it?
Yeah, I mean,
right?
it's we've gone long enough without 16, right?
I mean, we had it for 1 year, right? I mean, that was long enough to show that it really did need to be changed. I mean, it didn't make any sense to do 12. It's such a, one day, Bino, you and I ought to do a stunt. They're showing the Lady Vol. What would you call that? What are they doing out there?
That's the rowing team.
Rowing team. Thank you. I'm a sportsman.
I think they call it something else, but that is the rowing team.
You and I ought to go out there and practice with them one day. I'd like to put you in one of those boats and let me be the person that screams.
Oh, yeah, you get to be on the microphone?
Yeah, and screams stuff like, dig at you, dig.
I'd rather drive that boat.
There you go. Well, I wonder if you and I could talk our way into that one day, give them a shout out. And it's like hard work. Those gals are out there doing their thing. And
you ever been on a rowing machine any amount of time? Just a rowing machine.
No,
just a cardio machine.
No, but I remember the story Will Overstreet told us that one night. We'll talk about that during the break. At any rate, Overstreet, shout out to you. Shout out to Seth Reagan. Seth Reagan, your story about the rowing machine back in the day in the UT complex will never be forgotten by this living fan. So, Bino, here we are, man. Mother's Day upon us. They've got a buffet, Calhoun's does, all day long in Lenoir City, all day long in Oak Ridge. Bino, speak to that Calhoun's buffet, what people will encounter when they go there.
It's just fantastic, Tony. The selection's amazing. The service is terrific. The food is great. Whatever you want, you can find there. My brother and I have eaten at Christmas buffet for I don't know how many years now, decades, whatever. It's you can't go wrong. It's just terrific.
The allergies are that bad, aren't they? That's how it's making me feel, like in your throat right now.
Yeah, and usually the spring's not terrible on me. It's the fall, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I've been like rocked onto Electric Avenue this week, and then they took me hi-ya all week long. I mean, it's been brutal on me. When your nose is my size, as my father used to say to me, that's a major medical issue when I get a sinus infection.
Got the wrong end cleaned out this week, didn't you?
Got a personal text from a friend of mine today. It said, I don't know if you realize this or not, but Bino looks like the new pope, or the new pope looks like Bino. Can we start calling you Pope Bino.
Been half Pope my whole life.
Explain that to me. Explain to the living listener how a Bino that looks like the Pope can be half Pope.
My mother's maiden name was Pope. The recognition is just late in coming, but I appreciate it.
So really, you're like Pope Bino Pope.
Pope. I'm Pope.
That was really cool yesterday when they brought him out there and revealed him. It felt very because I grew up, in a Catholic church as a kid in Philadelphia, and that felt very. That was neat to see that, man. How emotional those people were and that whole thing. And then, of course, it took about 10 minutes on Twitter for Twitter to put the Chicago Bulls theme under it, and people realized the guy was a Chicago sports fan. They had some of his friends today on CNN laughing about it, and I think that the capacity for humans to laugh about everything is kind of a beautiful thing, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, and it's
in this world we live in, man.
Not what it once was. It's not as good as it once was.
No, in this world you've got to have the capacity to enjoy it and laugh about it. And Clocky, get on down here. Clocky wants to know if they've got a good chicken sandwich down here at Calhoun's, for those of you that come out today. The answer is absolutely. Now, I would get it blackened. I'd recommend you getting it blackened here. That's a real sneaky, great item on the menu here. But that's kind of what I do. Get a little Thunder Roads on it in honor of my boy VIP play Will Heflin. He's a Thunder Roads guy like I am. Some like it hot, Robert Palmer. So we've got a lot to get to today. And then we wake up today to the news that not only does Bino look like the Pope, not only are we going to a 16-team playoff, and Hugan's going to join us here on the other side, but Bill Belichick's girlfriend, in light of the embarrassment, CBS News, where he literally looked like he was in a hostage video. How old's Belichick been? 74, 73?
I would think. I'm not sure, but yes, I would think around mid-70s.
Life can throw a lot of twists and turns at you, a lot of unexpected stuff. Somebody, kind of your age, being driven around by a 24-year-old girl, would that be on your Singo card, Bino?
It would not, Tony.
Could you ever imagine you being driven around by a 24-year-old, just led around? Literally, Belichick's got a nose ring on, and she's tugging on his nose ring. Just tugging on it. You can't answer that question. Here's a man that's won 9 Super Bowls. You talk about a lady with magical powers. Here's the story. Breaking news from Yahoo Sports. Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has been reportedly banned from USC's practice facility. Now, there, in the last couple weeks, since people have been digging into her, have emerged clips of her being on the field, putting guys in alignment on defense. Have you seen that?
No.
Please look for it. Yes. She was out on the field in spring practice setting up alignments. Now, Kim Williams out in front of Fabulous Thunderbirds, they had a song called Powerful Stuff. And I realize stuff can be powerful. All men do realize that. That's some powerful stuff right there, Beanstar. When you're letting your 25-year-old girlfriend on your practice field, doing alignments, telling you what to say and what not to say. One Belichick family source told, who is this, Pablo Torre, there is a deep worry for how detrimental Jordan can be, not just for North Carolina, but for Bill's legacy, reputation, and everything he's built over the decades. This whole situation, when people talk about Bill Belichick 30 years from now, what are they going to talk about? His Super Bowls, Bino, or this thing with this girl?
No, they'll probably remember what came last.
Yeah. Because he's now in for Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, who was held hostage by some guy named Laney, Dr. Laney, I want to say. back in the 70s up in his room, Bino, for several years. He would not come out. I mean, what's next for Belichick? They banned her, Bino. Do you think Belichick makes it through a season?
No.
No.
I'm not sure he makes it to the season.
Pretty good hire by that president, though, nonetheless. So we have a lot to talk about today. Very little time to get there. My name is Basilio. Tennessee and Vanderbilt tonight, and that's why we're here. So many reasons why we're here. We come back on the other side. It'll be unbelievable as we will be joined by the great one himself. And upon the continuation, Mike Hugan joins as we bring it back on a Friday after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Your next opportunity to see your Knoxville Smokies in the brand new Covenant Health Park is next week. And what a week. Great promotions every night, including Thirsty Thursday with half-off drafts. And join Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the gang on Saturday. Our Sunday day game will be honoring our law enforcement. And don't forget, fireworks every Friday and Saturday night all season long. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Knoxville Smokies.
Why is it so stuffy in here? Don't tell me the AC's broken again. No matter the season, a broken air conditioner or HVAC system is a nightmare. And with warm weather here to stay, it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before summer's heat arrives. If you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends. to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need, so give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local.
There goes the lane train. Lane train's going by right now. Calhoun's on the river. If you can picture it, the lane train is going on by, Bino.
I see it.
Loaded full of, well, it's
transfers.
Transfers and excuses. Expensive transfers and hollow excuses. All kidding aside, if our gig ever opens here, I think he'd be a nice choice here in Knoxville. If it ever opens, Bino, am I wrong?
No.
I'd look at him. He's grown up. I'd like to see him with a full budget in a spot like that. I'd like to see what he could do, because I'm not sure he gets a chance, or as the great Larry Vaught liked to say, a chance. But in the meantime, let me bring the great Mike Hugan in with us. He's our Friday date. He's unbelievable, Andy Mack, and I love him. Hugie, I love you like there's nobody else. I hope you can feel the love. I hope it's resonating through your alleged mind and all through your being right now. Great Friday to you on the TLD Logistics Hotline, live at Calhoun's on the river. Can you picture it now? There's actually a fellow out here that's got a better hat than I have on, and my hat is pretty darn cool looking. That guy's rocking a cool looking hat. Hugie, welcome in. How you doing?
Doing well, but I can barely hear you.
What?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get that rectified. There's got to be a send volume. Maybe Laura can get down there and get to that. But let's, without further ado, I'll scream at you, Hugie. I'll scream at you.
That's fine.
All right. So Ross Dellinger, let's start here. He's done some excellent reporting over at Yahoo on where the sport is going of college football, really all these sports, but Ross has been on it like white on rice, as we used to say in rap music. And one of the things he talks about is that sooner than later, and we've been talking about this since they went to the 8-team playoff or 12-team, we said they're going to go to 16. He's saying that very soon they're going to 16. And not only are they going to go to 16, but they're going to go to 16 in a manner that, well, 4 teams guaranteed from the SEC, 4 teams guaranteed from the Big Ten, 2 teams guaranteed from the Big 12, 2 teams guaranteed from the ACC, and then a team guaranteed from the Group of 5, and then 3 more. 3 more clubs. 3 more clubs as at-larges. Your thoughts on this? Is that a good or bad move for college football?
You know, the guaranteed bids is bothersome, but that comes with a caveat. The Big Ten and SEC were going to have most of the teams anyway. So I don't know why they need to have the guaranteed bids. I think it makes them look a little bit weak. Those are the 2 best leagues. They're not going anywhere. The money's flowing in. It's going to get even more when the SEC goes to 9 conference games. But yeah, I think the idea that, you know, even before they played the first 12-team playoff, you know, last fall, you and I and were on the show talking about they were already groaning and moaning about, 12 teams isn't enough, and that was before they even tried the first 12-team playoff. So the idea of 16 should not shock anybody. FCS has 24 teams. I hope it never gets that big, but 16, I think that it's a given. The question is when, not if. Also, will there still be first round buys? I think the buys are a big deal, though the teams that had the buys last year did not do all that well. But yeah, I mean, the idea that it's going to be 16 teams sooner rather than later, and the reason, there's more money involved, so of course they're going to do it. If they told the commissioners of the SEC and Big Ten to have human sacrifices, but we'll give you $1 billion, they'll say, well, if you sacrifice 10, does that mean we get $10 billion? They don't care. All they care about is the money.
These athletic directors in this deal, these presidents, no offense to them, but if they thought there was an extra $10 in grandmom's couch, they'd go over there and give her a fake hug to get to it.
Oh yeah, they're diving under her couch for a nickel.
Yep.
So the House settlement continues to be pushed back. I think people thought it was going to be done in April. Early May, mid-May, and now it'll be late May at the earliest. It was supposed to go into effect July 1st. I don't know if that's going to happen.
No way.
But you already have schools making budgets with the House v. NCAA settlement aspect already sort of penciled in their budget. NIL deals are being made, I think, with the House settlement in mind. So it's everything. You know, college athletics always was about money. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But now there's no wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's just so blatant, and it's at times it's off-putting because people used to get mad at. I'm old enough to remember, when Major League Baseball free agency. Oh my God, it's going to ruin the game. Obviously, it didn't. But college athletics now has free agency every single season, and it's just a blatant money grab by everybody involved. And I don't begrudge the players at all, but it is a little bit unseemly to watch it occur in real time.
Bino, your thoughts on the 16 team? You and I were talking in our pre-production meeting today. Inside this component, and I don't know what the Big Ten's going to do, but the SEC has already announced the reporting. They haven't announced this, but this is true SEC fashion. They can't just take their 4 teams and let their 4 teams in, their top 4 teams. They've got a money grab after you play what's going to be a 9-game schedule where teams 3 and 5 play and teams 4 and 6 play for the rights to be in the among those 4 teams Your thoughts on this, Bino?
Yeah, Mike, I told Tony earlier, the way the SEC has this set up, I think they're actually selling some of their teams out.
Yeah,
because
if they
to grab
do
money,
that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because
you're two losers.
Could be getting in and potentially lose the game, the playing game, and now they're out totally. It makes zero sense. Oh no, it doesn't, because they're going to make money off it. But I agree 100%. They're selling their teams out, and again, it's all about. It's just at some point. I wonder if fans, I don't know, I'm disgusted by all this, and they stop caring nearly as much.
The great Mike Hugan joining. Bino, you bring that up, right? Here's a conversation me and Beanstar were having. I want the fan to think about this now, because I'm not sure Tennessee right now. I keep it real. I don't know how many times they're going to be 1 or 2 in the league at the end of the year, but they're going to be. As we've seen, they're going to be in that 3 to 6 slot some years. I mean, I'm just keeping it real with you here. I'm just keeping it 100. So, from that perspective, okay, let's say you're somewhere between 3 and 6, and you get to play in that play-in deal. Let's say you're 3 or 4. Let's say you're 4, Hugie, and you lose. Okay, so you're 4. You play Team 6. Team 6 beats you. You get beat. There still are at-large spots that are available. Do you think the at-large in the SEC at 4 is going to get jumped by, because now they've gotten eliminated in this end-of-the-year made-for-TV tournament, which is what this is, this money grab. Do you think, Hugie, that they get a spot, or do you think, say, an Ole Miss that's sitting out there watching this, or, say, a Wisconsin from the Big Ten who's sitting out there watching this, do they then jump that team after they get beaten that made-for-TV deal?
Yeah, I think that's a distinct possibility. And again, I don't understand why they feel the need to do that. Plus, you've already played a 9-game conference schedule. How do you know that the team you play in the playing game isn't somebody you've already beaten in the regular season? And let's look at last year as an example. With Miami, 10-2 Miami, they took 2 ACC teams as it was, but would a Miami in that situation then get the third bid from the ACC because they're 10-2? So I don't know why the SEC is putting its teams in danger like that. If 5 teams in the SEC are 10-2, okay, you're all getting in the 16-team playoff. So why risk one of those teams becoming 10-3? I don't understand the rationale. Now, I understand the bottom line aspect, but that cannot be the reason you do this. It goes back to, at some point, take money out of the equation, and there's no way you play this game. But money's in the equation, so I guess probably 50-50 or better that it's played, but it's the height of stupidity. But then again, this is college athletics, and the height of stupidity, you can use that on a daily basis, that phrase, and something new crops up every day that becomes the height of stupidity.
Mike, the new basic salary cap that's coming out, how long does that last before someone...
it's not long. And you got some schools saying we're going to spend 75% of the House settlement on football. If you're an SEC basketball coach, wait a second here. I'm going to be behind the 8 ball against Big East teams because they're going to spend 80% on basketball. So why don't I get a bigger piece of the pie here? It's again, the whole situation. The NCAA has screwed this up for decades, and some part of me, as a journalist, loves the daily mishmash of everything that's going on. But you take a step back, and the 9-year-old kid who first became involved in, who first loved college athletics, I'm not sure if that 9-year-old kid today would be as fully invested as I was back then. It's getting unseemly, and the NCAA can't fix anything. and again, we've talked about this for decades, they are so reactive. They've never been proactive. And why we are where we are is because the NCAA has been so reactive.
Mike, I've always kind of been for the fifth year of eligibility, but the more I think about it, the more my thoughts were more from the old school standpoint that kids that play major college athletics, especially football and basketball, just have trouble having an opportunity to graduate in the 4 years that they're in school because they're limited in the amount of hours that they take in season. But I'm not for the sport getting a whole lot older than it is. So I'm kind of teetering on my original thoughts about the fifth year of eligibility.
Yeah, the fifth year thing, the academic, 15 years ago, I think that argument would have been 100% spot on. It's difficult to be a college athlete and go to class. My nephew has a friend at Florida who is a team manager, and that dude spends 26 hours a week as a team manager.
Wow,
and he also
that's rough.
goes to class. He's an engineering major. You're like, dude, you're going to flunk out. But today, it's much more difficult to use the academic aspect of it. Plus, I guess there's 113 or 143 guys are in the basketball transfer portal that technically have zero eligibility left. But there's, I think, 3 or 4 separate lawsuits saying that some of the NCAA rule requirements, I only played 4 games one season, I should get that year back.
Yep.
I only played 7 games one season, I need that year back. I had to drop out of school because my mom was sick, I need to get that year back. So these guys all want 5 years of eligibility. Well, what's to stop somebody from one time? I want 6. I want 7. I want 8. At some point, and with NIL, you're getting paid, and you probably make more money than you would in a quote-unquote typical job. So there's so many problems. On one hand, you feel sorry for the college administrators, but on the other, you're like, well, you reap what you sow, and you guys were so bereft. You guys, you didn't do your job, so this is why we are where we are.
There goes the star of Knoxville out here on the river. I just love this place, man. There's so much life. We were watching the rowers before. The staff here is such great. They're just great people here at Calhoun's. I love you all. We love you all. When you come today, make sure you tip and throw money at them and all that good stuff. And we're here for you. We're live today. Calhoun's on the river today. Tennessee and Vanderbilt tonight. Game 1 this evening. Perfect baseball weather. Little nip in the air this morning. It's going to get warmer as the day goes on. Going to be a great night for baseball. Doyle's going to shove. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy Mack. Right now we got Mike Hugan on. Mother's Day is 2 days away. Remember, make your reservation at the local Calhoun's near you. Also remember the buffet all day long at Lenoir City and out in Okarigi. 2 places that, it's ironic. They put the... They put the buffet right next to Bino, right next to Bino's spots. He grew up in Oak Ridge and then Lenoir City. They're trying to tell Bino something.
I appreciate it.
But at any rate, we got a lot to talk about today. The great Mike Hugan joining us. Hugie, let's go back to this playoff thing real quick. And by the way, on the 5-year deal, people laugh at me because I think that the Ziegler and Gainey thing, it is certainly not out of the question that they're in a uniform next year with Tennessee. And some people like to laugh at me over that. I don't know if you're going to be laughing for long because the NCAA settled 2 of those lawsuits this week of 2 of the kids that went into the portal. And they did it because they don't want to end up in court. And they don't want to end up in court because if they end up in court, you're going to have 7 or 8 year. You're going to have guys that are eligible for 7 or 8 years. So they're better off settling these deals before they get to court. They know it, I know it, you know it, Hugie knows it, and Bino knows it. Now, they can pick on baseball players like Alberto Ozuna all day long, but in these high-revenue sports, because they love to punch down at the NCAA, it's kind of all they can do right now is, go into a room and make fun of somebody you ought to be lifting up, but that's what the NCAA is. They're a bully. But, Hugie, I want to go back to the playoff. So 4 teams from the SEC, 4 teams from the Big Ten, 2 teams from the Big 12, 2 from the ACC, 1 from the Group of 5. Where are the other 3 coming from, Hugie? Are they inevitably
Notre
coming?
Dame will always be one.
Notre Dame will always be one of them.
And
Okay,
it should
so
be
that
unless
leaves 2.
Something's gone wrong.
Yeah,
and
so that
I
leaves
guess
2 now.
Two more
Where do they come?
more teams from the Big Ten and SEC.
There you go.
Because I find it hard to believe there's going to be. I think there's going to be situations where a 9-3 team from the Big 12 or SEC trumps a 10-2 team from the ACC or Big 12. So,
all right,
and maybe there's a year where 2 Group of 5 teams get in. Maybe one is 13-0 and one is 12-1. I don't think that's maybe a 1% chance, but I guess that is a possibility. But it's I think it's going to 16 opens up more spots for the Big Ten and SEC, unquestionably.
Hugie, you got to go. Give me a final thought here on the way out. You are a gentleman, if not a scholar.
No, the NCAA now is, Saban goes and speaks to Trump, and Trump's like, well, we'll put together a blue ribbon commission to study college athletics. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. The idea that the federal government could get involved should make you throw up in your mouth a little bit. And again, this all goes back to the NCAA has been so inept for so long that they've reaped what they've sown. They didn't sow anything, and now they're reaping. And you got guys changing schools on an annual basis. You got conferences saying, well, we'll play an extra game so we can make an extra couple $1 million. It's becoming a little bit, like I said, ridiculous.
Well, and the other side of that is, I don't care what side of the political aisle you're on, until you sit down with these players and put them in a room and give them the rights they deserve, you could him and haw till you're blue in the face. The president could issue 1 million edicts. Nick Saban could stand right next to him with Tommy Tuberville and people from the other side of the aisle. It ain't going to matter when you get into a court of law. People don't want to hear
right.
that.
And
it's
your point
not
earlier about
matter.
the NCAA deathly afraid of a courtroom, they should be, because they're like the worst. Them in the courtroom is like a bad Division III school going against Houston or going against Florida or going against Auburn this year. They get blown out of the water. They lose every single time. So, yeah.
It's like me in a Google check. When you go through some of the things I've said in my 2 hours, and then you consult Google, it's like me and Google, Hugie. But I love you like a brother. You are you're about next level, man. Maybe by the time we get there next week, you'll get there. Thank you, brother. Bino, all politics are local. All right? All politics are local. Youngsters inspiring to do this. Remember that. Nobody here wants to hear you talk about the NBA, brah. All politics are local. If you sit there and talk about the NBA, your channel is going to get changed. Nobody wants to hear you talk about Major League Baseball. Am I speaking the straight truth? I love Major League Baseball. Bino, if we did a 2-hour Major League Baseball segment, what would happen?
There'd be a whole lot of filler in that 2 hours.
All right, so let's do this.
You and I talking to each other.
All politics are local. Bino, let's go through this nice and slowly one more time. 4 guaranteed Southeastern Conference teams. I want the living listener to please listen to what I'm about to ask you, because I want you to call in. 4 guaranteed spots in the SEC, okay? But 6 teams every year are in playoff contention. Then there will be, after you put Notre Dame in the playoff, 2 more spots available. By my calculation, that makes 8 SEC teams in playoff contention. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that 8 SEC teams annually are going to not making the playoffs?
Yes.
But just in that conversation?
Yes.
Okay? If that is the case, okay, and the Tennessee football job is being done properly, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Out of 5 years, how many years should you be in playoff contention? That's part one. How many years should you make the playoffs in this league if you're doing it right? Bino.
Out of how many years, Tony?
Out of 5 years.
I would say here you should be in contention to be in the top half of your league every year. So basically, that's what we're talking about, right?
That's a heck of an answer.
You should be in contention
That's a great answer.
to be in the top half of your league
great answer.
every year.
Great answer.
And you should make the playoffs 2 of those 5 years.
Living listener, what do you say? Bino says, now let's go through this one more time. There are 4 teams that will be guaranteed at the end of the year that will be utterly in contention, but really 6. This is what the league's done here with the money grab. Teams 1 and 2 automatically get in. How many times out of 10 years will Tennessee be either team 1 or 2, Bino? The way it's currently constituted. Out of 10 years.
It's been really rare for Tennessee to be 1 or 2 anytime.
Yep.
Outside the
Now that you have Texas in this
90s.
league, you have Alabama in this league, you have Georgia. Georgia went into the transfer portal and on top of their already tremendous team they have, got like 10 guys. And several of them are difference makers. I mean, you just got it. We have to look at this and admit what this thing is. Texas is spending $40 million. $40 million. I mean, you got to admit this. Like, hey, I woke up this morning, okay, and I'm not going to look like Brad Pitt today. And it's all right. In fact, I look more like a bald Bert from Sesame Street than I do Brad Pitt. It's all right. It's all right. All right, so.
I look like the Pope. He's what?
The Pope. Pope's a good-looking guy, Bino.
All right.
I found that when I saw the Pope yesterday, especially, the Pope, when they showed his photos from Villanova, looks like he could have combed his hair with a pick, too. That's one thing Bino and I have in common when we had hair. I ought to one day pull out my old photos of 8th grade when I had an Oscar Gamble afro and showed at the people.
Sweet.
I had me a furrow in 8th grade, a full furrow. I mean, and listen. I wanted to be in the nation. I watched Don Cornelius. I grew up on the Quiet Storm on Power 99 FM back in the day. Woot, woot. I would listen to Quiet Storm I was never a good sleeper. So I'd listen to the old R&B jams all night long. Play another love song, this time Make It Sweet, from my baby and for me. Who made that, Bino? What is that? That's Midnight Star, isn't it? And Wet My Whistle.
Yes, it is.
Wet My Whistle.
Yep.
That's another great jam. All right. How many, when we start thinking about to the living listener at 865-200-5402, we're going to go to a 16-team playoff. Tony, we should be in this playoff or in contention for it. Bino says every year. Am I wrong to assume that 8 teams are in contention annually when you look at the format and what they're doing? That's what they're trying to do here. They're going to make it.
It'll be 7 to 8 teams most every year that are at least in contention toward the end of the season.
How many times, Bino, out of 5 years do we play in that playing game? Which from 2 to 6 in the conference, or 3 to 6 rather. It's 3 and 5 play each other and 4 and 6 play each other, I believe is the format. How many times, Bino, are we playing in that game? I say 3 out of 5. I say 3 out of 5
Well,
years.
I said we should be in the playoffs 2 out of 5. That may be too high. I don't know.
No, I think that's right. But you got to win that game.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
I would say that if we're in that game, in one of those games 2 out of 5 years, it's pretty good. If you're in there 3 out of 5, it's really good.
I really wish Matt Dixon were here right now because he has a memory. Maybe Brian can text me this or somebody can share it. Maybe one of the listeners can share this with me. Last year, the 2 teams that would have if we would have done this last year, this format, okay, we finished what in the league last year? Do you remember? Were we 3 in the league last year? It went Texas, Georgia, or Georgia, Texas, because they played in the championship game. We were the 3rd team because we made the playoff. Who was the 4th team last year? Was it South Carolina?
It was probably Ole Miss, wasn't it? Or
Ole Miss.
South Carolina. The 2 teams just outside were the 3 teams just outside were Ole Miss, Alabama, and South Carolina.
Okay, there you go. So that would have been the mini tournament last year. Would have been us, Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. I'm telling you what, it's a money grab. Okay, I'd watch that.
Oh yeah, we're going to watch
that. You'd watch that. I'd watch that.
We're going to watch it.
It's going to get huge numbers.
Yeah.
And I was told today by a source in the industry, they're going to make an extra couple $100 million off this, the league is, by expanding. These leagues are going to cut up an extra couple $100 million from this deal.
I don't think it's smart, just simply because if your 5 and 6 teams get beat, you're probably set at 4 and that's it. You're not going to get a 5th or a 6th. Because they're not going to jump the 7th place team up there and give them a spot. Now, in years when the 3 or 4 get beat, then you may gain a spot.
And that's what they're going to do. See, here's the thing: the leagues and the conspiracies down the line with this will be wild. Because what I predict is the conferences will send teams 3 and 4 in there with the hopes they get beat.
Well, that would be the way to get the most teams.
That's a fact, Jack.
Yeah.
Because I'm already guaranteed 4. Think about this. I'm already guaranteed 4.
Yeah.
3 and 4 get beat. All of a sudden, I can jump one of my wild cards in there and get me 5. Maybe in a year where my league's really good, I can get me 6. But you answer me this, and then we'll come back on the other side. How many years should the Vols be in contention? This year is an interesting litmus test because you got Joey football. Look. What record will you have to be in that 8 slot? That's another little thing you got to think about. Would 9-3 put you in the 8 slot? 9-3 last year would have put you in the 6 slot. 9-3, you're comfortably.
I think most every year 9 wins puts you
in that spot. I think there are years where 8 wins might put you in that spot, depending on what happens across college football.
I agree.
And that's what you're doing here. You're going to allow an 8-win football team to be in playoff contention. Whether you like it or don't like it, or Nick Saban doesn't like it, or the commission likes it or doesn't like it, or Danny White and his lieutenants like it or don't like it. I think they all like it, by the way. You know who doesn't like this? Are the football coaches. Because if I'm Josh Heupel last year and my team fights like hell to get through that schedule, and they're 10-2, and I got to turn around and now play a playoff game just to get into the playoffs. I think
South Carolina.
I think
the way
that
they were playing.
Would you have liked to play South Carolina at the end of the year last year?
Probably not.
I like this man. He's got some honesty to him. Because I don't think we would have beaten them. Do you think we would have beaten them last year?
I don't know, but they were playing really good football at the end of the season.
We're going to take a brief timeout. I want you to tell me if you like this. Because in a way, this makes Tennessee alive just about every year you wake up for the postseason in football. And in another way, this little money grab that they've created at the end of the year is going to create a system where, like last year, we might have gotten bit by it.
Yeah.
But some years, we're going to be on the outside looking in, sitting right in the middle of our league, and we're going to jump right in there and grab a playoff spot. So it's going to cut for us. I think annually this thing is going to cut both ways for us. And all politics are local, and that's what we're doing. And we're breaking it down scientifically. We're moving right to left across your device. Matt Dixon hopefully will be down here at some point, shaking the hand and sharing the land. And we're going to continue with more on the other side as we come back on the other side, breaking it down scientifically after this.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law, fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we've got Chad Stockton with FC Alliance. Chad?
Well, I'm up in Johnson City, Tennessee with our FC Alliance North location that we started this past fall. We are doing well. We kickstarted the spring season with games this past weekend, and we've got more games coming up the next few weeks. So we're excited about what the springtime holds for us. Our girls' ECNL is also into the middle of their spring season. They hosted a huge weekend this weekend coming from Pittsburgh and New York. The teams they hosted, good results, hard teams they played all weekend long. We've got such a focus on skill development and focusing on what's the right way to play for our kids as we continue to grow. We're expecting our programs to continue to grow like they have been the past few years. Our tryouts are coming up in late May. For the U12 and under, it's the middle of May, and then for the older kids, it'll be late May. But we're expecting to grow not only in Knoxville, but also in Johnson City.
And if you want more information, you can see what Chad's talking about and hear those kids and get involved. It's FCAllianceKnox.org. Again, FCAllianceKnox.org. Hey, Chad, thanks, man. Many happy returns, my brother.
Thank you, Tony.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello's jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow, I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at ConnectSeal.com. That's KONEXIAL.com. Drive life with ConnectSeal and go Vols.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather and Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather and Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Tony B back with you, 865-200-5402. I welcome the Chapmans, the Fighting Chapmans of Cock County. I welcome them here. They, the Fighting Cocks of Cock County and the Fighting Chapmans of Cock County. Two things I can get behind in that order, 1 and 2. Moving right to left across your device as we welcome you back. 865-200-5402. So they're going to go to a 12-team schedule. Tennessee and Vanderbilt are getting ready to play a pivotal series. The great Billy Derrick's going to join us here momentarily, who Southeastern 16 and also does some work on the Vandy site. It's going to be, and also does work on the George Plaster show. He's excellent on there, but he's listening to us coming in. He's going to be out here momentarily. But Tennessee tonight, these games are all televised on a year where none of these games have been televised. But tonight's game, 5:30 Eastern. Saturday's game on ESPN. Tonight's game's SEC Network /ESPN2. It's SEC Network, actually. I'm confusing myself. Tomorrow's game is a 5 o'clock start. It's an ESPN2 start. And then on the Mother's Day contest is a 3 p.m. Eastern Time start. And away we go. Away we go. 865-200-5402 is the numero uno, numero dos, if you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us. And let's, without further ado, go back to our phones and we've got a call that wants to jump in with us on a kind of feels like a fall day out here. It feels like we should be playing some football tomorrow, Beanstar, instead of baseball.
Yeah, I've got my pullover on today, Tony.
Woo! Yeah, I walked in here in a leather coat and a hoodie. A leather coat. I look like a real Guido today, Bino. Leather coat and a hoodie. Like you should be walking out of the Ravenite Diner. What borough was the Ravenite Diner in, Beanstar?
I believe the Ravenite was in Queens, but I'm not sure. I know the Bergen Fish and Hunt Club was in Queens, but I'm not sure about the Ravenite.
The Bergen Fish and Hunt Club looked like an absolute dump. And by the way, the chicken sandwich here, Clocky came and had it, said it was absolutely incredible. Let's go to the phones to get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
How my French compatriots doing today?
Hey, W. Lynn, welcome in.
First thing, Tony, let's remember to feed the hungry tomorrow. Get those canned goods out by your mailbox.
You know, that's. I'm glad you pointed that out. I pointed that out in the blog today. I was wanting to. So what W. Lynn's talking about is that our friends at Fish Pantry this week, the goal is 100,000 pounds of canned goods around the area, and we don't need beets, okay? Beans are great. Canned meats are great. The need is really, really high right now. Jim Wright was here last week. We went to the kickoff on Tuesday night. These mail carriers are really heroic doing this because, Bino, across a few counties, can you imagine lugging back 100,000 pounds and literally signing up to do it? These guys and gals in the room the other night were extremely receptive. I love our mail carriers,
Yeah,
Bino.
God bless them.
It's a tough job. Tough job. But W. Lynn, thank you for mentioning that. So tomorrow, if you don't have a yellow bag, lay out what you have. If you do have a yellow bag, lay them in the yellow bag. It's been provided by the Garza Law Firm. But please, please do your part. And Laura, I'm talking to you. Do your part. Go ahead, W.
Well, I've got several things today, Tony. First of all, Bino, you said a couple of weeks ago we might as well expand to 20 teams so we can have our old SEC back with 10 teams, and then the other 20 could just be their other division. You remember that?
Yes, I did. I think I would like that better. Have a 10-team division that was the old SEC.
We've got our old SEC, and I've got it divided into the Southern Division and the Mid-South Division. That's just for kind of the Olympic sports. I'm not talking about the revenue sports. And in the other part of our conference, I have the Atlantic Division that has Virginia Tech, South Carolina, North Carolina State, North Carolina, and Virginia. And then the Southwest Division that has Oklahoma, Texas, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Missouri. How's that sound to you?
I agree with you. I'd put the old Big Eight back together.
Yep.
Let them play as a conference under our umbrella.
Yeah.
It's where it's going anyway. What you're saying doesn't bother me. Did you have North Carolina in that somewhere? Because that's
in Atlantic.
Okay, yeah, that's who the league really wants.
They're in.
That's who the league.
South Carolina over there with the 4 current ACC teams.
That's who the league really wants.
And the Arkansas, Texas, and A&M is combined with the old Big 12, Oklahoma, and Missouri.
Yep.
Who were we in with?
Well, the Southern Division is Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, and Vandy. And the Mid-South Division, shout out to Mid-South Wrestling, LSU, Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State.
Now, you got to have Oklahoma, because Oklahoma's where Mid-South Wrestling originated
well, they're in
from.
The Southwest Division, Tony.
Nah, it's not going to work.
Be in the old,
no, it's not going to work. Not going to work.
Never should have brought up wrestling. Never, ever.
If you're going to do Mid-South Wrestling, you got to have Oklahoma.
Never.
You got to have Texas, and you got to have Louisiana. The Irish McNeil Boys Club in Shreveport is where the thing was filmed. So that's the old Leroy McGurk territory, W. Lynn. Don't evoke on here Mid-South Wrestling. Don't do that.
But, okay, moving on to this nonsense about what we're doing in the 16-team playoff. If you talk to any of our former players, and I've heard a lot of them on a Saturday morning show, they say these what we call bye games or hoopty games, they say their body needs that to finish the season. We got to remember, these kids are between 17 and 22 years old, 24 at the most. And so if you do this nonsense where we have a play-in game and we're playing 9 conference games, here's what you're going to have playing by the time you get to the playoffs. Your wide receivers are going to be Bernie, Veazey, and Pete Panuska. Your quarterback's going to be Benji Schuler. And your DBs are going to be Tyler Wolf and Jason Julian.
W. Lynn, you're interesting. What do you expect that happens this weekend in this Vandy series, W. Lynn?
I expect we're going to win 2 out of 3. I'd love a sweep, but what we got to do is win 2 out of 3. We must do that to ensure that we're still on the path to host a regional. So we need everybody to get out there, go crazy, scream, try to keep it clean. I know if you're in the right field student section, go ahead and bring a megaphone so maybe they can hear you. Everybody bring one of those small megaphones and tell Danny Dollar we need to do away with that street behind right field. Coach V, I hope you're listening. make that scoreboard closer to the batter's eye and have a bleacher section for the students behind right field and right center field.
What they could do for league games, Bino, is they could bring in temporary bleachers and put those kids in the outfield and block the street. They really could do that. I don't know how expensive or not that would be, but that would be a very good, what's the term, compromise. Because where the kids are now is simply not going to work. And you're not going to displace, like Taylor told us yesterday, what they've done is they've given a lot of the parents, seats there, which that can be good or bad when you put all the parents together because, parents don't like it when their kids are getting kind of razzed on the field by the home fans. And part of baseball is when somebody's not performing, you razz them a little bit, even the home fans. Tony doesn't like that either. But, Bino, that is part of the deal, right?
Sure, that's always been part of the deal. I don't think the location is bad. It's just the setup. They might be okay where they're at if they just had some amenities out there, someplace to put a drink or something like that. Standing out on a patio.
Yep, WLM wants to close a field, and then also no women and children, right, WLM, when you're closing the field?
No women and children unless the children are old enough and the women are sports fans and they're yelling and screaming. But please don't bring somebody in there that doesn't know what's going on, like a 2-year-old, for Pete's sake.
Well, WLN, you're out of here. Should have told you that last week. You're a punk and a clown for saying something like that on here twice. You're out of here. All right, now, 865-200. I mean, my gosh, WLN, you punk and clown. 865-200-5402 on a day where the playoffs are about to expand to 16. Bino, what's more absurd to you? The playoffs are about to expand to 16, or Jordan Hudson has been banned NWO for life from the complex at North Carolina. Which one?
Obviously, it's the Jordan Hudson thing. We all knew this other was happening at some point in time. It's just a little quicker than we thought it was. But for her to already be banned before he's ever coached a game there.
I love the Jordan Hudson story. Why does America love the Jordan Hudson story so much? Everybody's talking about it. Why do you think that is?
America loves a train wreck, Tony.
Yeah. Of Bill Belichick, of all people, I mean, what's next? Is Nick Saban going to get caught up in something like that? Is that because that's who those two guys are?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, Bino. Like, there's a thing called Talkers Magazine, and they have, like, the number one story, each week. That was the number one story on talk radio. General talk radio. Bill Belichick and this young gal giving him the cut sign, and no, he's not answering that, and I mean, geez Louise. I'd look over at her if I were him, and I'd say, here's an idea for you. Why don't you bend over and kiss your rear end goodbye? You talk to me like that one more time, you're coat and your brim, and you're getting out my gym. Would you let somebody talk to you like that? Negative. Good, Bino. Answer the question. Would you let somebody talk to you like that?
I do on here most every day.
Oh! Let's get Billy Derrick in here. He's up next with us. Hello and welcome in to the great Billy Derrick. He of the George Plaster Show. He of Southeastern 16. He of covers Vandy as well, but don't hold that against him. He's a really quality young man. Billy Derrick, your thoughts on the fact that the Pope grew up a Chicago fan. Do you have a thought on that? And wait till you see Bino, because you might have to kiss Bino's ring before it's over, because he bears a striking resemblance to the Pope. And, Bino, one other thing about you that he needs to know?
I've been half Pope my whole life.
Because
my mother's maiden name.
He's coming this way right now. Billy's on his way. Billy Que Pasa Amigo, what is your excitement level for this Tennessee-Vandy baseball series, Billy, if any?
I'm fired up, Tony. I feel good about where Vandy's at right now. Obviously, they haven't won a series against Tennessee in 3 years, haven't won in Knoxville since 2021, and a lot of things have changed. Tennessee has a national title under their belt, but they're playing good baseball, and they've got great pitching. They got good defense. They're gonna have to try to find ways to score runs this weekend, but it's going to be a blast. There's always something when these two get together, and I can't wait to see what it's going to be this weekend. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I love you, Billy. In my humble opinion, and I treat you with respect, unlike Bino, there's a guy on Plaster Show, former quarterback, guy by the name of Kelly Holcomb. You talk about a punk and a clown. This guy mistreats my boy, Billy Derrick. And Billy, I lift you up, man. I think you're a rising star in our business. And I stand with you, not against you. I stand for you, not against you. But Bino, to me, the Vandy series, you talk about how Tony Voss started the party on Tennessee's campus, this resurgence we've been under.
Yeah.
I think it all started with the Vandy series. I think it all started the day that our boy Evan Russell of the Loyalty NIL, baseball NIL, who helps us get our guest on Wednesdays, the great one, the day Evan Russell hit that ball in that afternoon sky, Bino, I say that started the party here. What say you?
Yeah, I think that's I believe that's a good origin point for it.
Yep.
And you wonder in this series, if Vandy's what it takes to kind of wake this Tennessee team up. We saw that, 2-3 years ago was when Tennessee had started the league 5-10.
Yes.
And that was the beginning of their resurgence, and they wound up in Omaha. So it'll be interesting to see if that's what it takes to wake this Tennessee team up.
Billy, I'll tell you this. If this Tennessee team comes out, and I hate to say looks flat, but Will Heflin calls it like he sees it. When teams don't hit, they look flat. Okay. This Tennessee team, after winning that game the other day, in Game 3 the other day, they did look flat. They look flat in the field. They look flat on the mound. They just look flat. Bino, I will officially be very, very, very worried about this team if they don't show some life, this Tennessee team this weekend against Vanderbilt. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think W. Lynn's
That's
right.
the deal.
I think he's right in that this is a team that's kind of teetering. We were thinking about hoping to host a super regional.
Yep.
This is a team that's kind of teetering on losing an opportunity to host a regional. This is when you can get that back by winning this series.
Hey, Billy, and I'll tell you something about your Vanderbilt boys. I want you to elaborate on this. They are a totally different team away from home. If Tennessee hits the baseball, they're capable of getting swept this weekend, aren't they, Billy?
Yep, they sure are. But Vandy on the road, it really looks like a totally different team. They went to Oklahoma. First 2 games of that series looked awful. They went down to Oxford. First 2 games of that series, they've looked awful. They've been able to salvage Game 3s on Sundays with this kid Connor Fennell. And I know you're not going to enjoy watching that if Vandy wins a Game 3, but you'll enjoy watching him, Connor Fennell, on Sunday. His fastball maxes out at about 87, 88. He's got a disgusting changeup. He's one of the more fun pitchers to watch. So they've been able to find ways to win Game 3s, but they're just so different away from home because most teams are. Other than Tennessee, that's the weird thing with Tennessee this year. At home, they look like a totally different team, but they go on the road and they look like a great baseball team. So for Vandy, I told somebody a couple of days ago that they've got to find new ways to score on the road, whether that's getting on, bunting a guy over, stealing, especially tomorrow with Phillips. If Vandy can run on him, I think that's going to be huge. But if they get either Game 1 or Game 2, I'll feel good about their chances because they've been really good on Sundays behind Fennell. But, man, it's going to be tough with Doyle tonight. And he didn't even get to pitch last Friday against Auburn. and so he's going to be fired up. But the thing about Vandy, too, is they pitch well. This is a good rotation, and they play good enough defense to keep themselves in game. But with Tennessee, you never know who's gonna lift one out of the ballpark. And this feels like a weekend where Dean Curley is a guy that maybe gets it going, or Chapman finds a way to get out of his slump. And if you're Vandy, that scares you a little bit. Because I'm with you. Vandy has the capability of winning a series, but just as easily they can get swept. And I think the hope, if you're a Vandy fan, is that this doesn't look like the series from a couple of years ago, 2023, where you lose Friday night's game in 12 innings, and then Saturday Tennessee bombards you with 17 runs, and the series is over, and you're sitting there going, "What the heck just happened?" So let's find ways to score runs is what they've got to do.
And remember, Billy, come out on Sunday and smokes you like a joint cigarette. You forgot about that. But let's, Bino, what is it about this Tennessee baseball team? You played the game a long time. You've been around it. You coached it. You played it. You still play it as an adult. Why can you be that team at home that kind of looks slumbery, and yet you go on the road and you're excellent? You should have won the LSU series.
Tony, I don't know. It's so much about confidence, and this team may just relax a little bit on the road. Maybe they press at home. I don't know. It's always hard to pinpoint what's going on. But Billy, the scary thing for me as a Tennessee fan about the style of Vandy team that's coming in, it's just that we don't field it very well. So it gives a team that kind of has to find a way to manufacture runs. A team that wants to run, we don't hold runners on very well. We've been wild pitch crazy. So things that I used to not worry so much about, I worry more about with this team, because we don't swing the bats like we used to, and we don't do the little things either. And you've got a pitcher that's a style that's given us trouble even with some of our better hitting teams. Your third day guy.
Yeah, I told somebody a couple days ago too, and I think Chris Lee mentioned it. This is going to look a lot like the Kentucky series if Vandy wins it. You know, that's always been Corbin's style: get on base and be aggressive. Because Vandy's they haven't even hit 50 home runs this year. They've hit 48 home runs this year, and they're not a great hitting team, but they've been good situationally, and they're going to have to be this weekend. And I think that's the saving grace for Vandy this weekend. They're not facing a Tennessee team that hits, at this point last year, I think that Tennessee team was over 100 home runs, and that just scared you so much with Burke and Moore at the top of the lineup. But right now, I think you feel good about the offense you're facing. Now, Tennessee can still leave the ballpark, but it's not the same offense that really you've seen. And George and I were talking about it yesterday, Tony and Bino, how these two teams right here, right now, and I know Vandy's ranked ahead of Tennessee. This is probably as even as they've been in a while in this series. Because you look back last year, that Tennessee was number one in the country when they came to Nashville. A couple of years ago, I know Vandy was ranked ahead, but Tennessee ended up finishing further in the postseason. You go back 2022, that was the team of the decade, that Tennessee team. Now Vandy's got a team I think is a little bit more evenly matched with Tennessee, and that's why I think it's going to be a fun series. And it would be a shame if Vandy gets swept. And even if they can get one, it's so hard to win on the road in this league. Even if they can get one, I think you feel good. But it does feel like every time Tennessee needs some mojo back. I mean, you go back to a couple of years ago, here comes Vandy, and that'll motivate them. So Vitello and his team is going to do anything it takes to win this weekend. But Vandy's also motivated. They haven't beat them in 3 years. So there's a ton of motivation on both sides, not to mention both teams are fighting for a national seed.
Billy, the Vanderbilt fan found the sport they could dominate in college baseball, and here comes Tony Vitello. Not dominate, I mean dominate. I mean like national championship. I mean like back-to-back, going to Omaha regularly, the whole deal. I'm talking dominate. And since Tony's come in, the air has gone out of the sails a little bit. from that perspective, how important is this series to the Vandy fan, and how much has Tennessee baseball pulled the air out of the sails of Vanderbilt, just among their own fan base?
Yeah, I don't think fans have wanted to admit it, but Tennessee has had a huge part in Vandy's downslide here. They're still a top 25 team. They're still making the postseason, but they're not what they used to be. They haven't been the same program since 2021, the last time they beat Tennessee. And I think Tennessee has been able to take players that Vandy usually easily gets. And I think of a guy like Chase Burns. Burns is a guy that normally goes to Vandy if Vitello's not there. Maybe even Drew Beam. Definitely Kavaris Tears, the guy out of Columbia, right there in West Tennessee. Maybe even Hunter Ensley. Like, there's local guys that Tony was able to bring in that have been motivated to beat Vandy and to own the crown in the state. And so I think that plays a part in it. But it's also, they were behind on NIL in the portal. Corbin did not want to adjust. He felt like he didn't need to adapt as early as he did. Now he's made that adjustment, and I think they'll get back to where they were and make another national title push. But it's a combination of Vitello and Tennessee getting the guys you used to get every single year, your advantage slipping away with the scholarships, and the world changing. I mean, NIL in the portal is running college baseball as well, and Vanderbilt wasn't in that game. They're slowly getting back into it. But I think with Tennessee being as good as they have been and beating Vandy really every year, it feels like, under Vitello, it hasn't been every year, but the last 3 years, that has really, really stung. And it coincided with the basketball team struggling, the football team not being great, and now the baseball program's gone. And so you didn't really have a grip over Tennessee anymore. And it hurt. But I never – it hurt for me, but at the same time, I like it for the state. I like it for the rivalry. I think it's the best rivalry in the SEC. If you look at the differences, the cultural differences of both teams and fan bases and universities, I think it's phenomenal. So I think it's been good in that regard. But there's no doubt. I mean, this is the nightmare of all nightmares for Vandy fans. And I think this weekend is important because you can flip the narrative a little bit. You can even the scale and get it back to being a competitive rivalry, a competitive series. And so I think Corbin and this program really, really need it, and it would be a huge series win.
Billy, that's really interesting what you're talking about. The only thing that I feel like I've been deprived of as a Tennessee football fan is we've never had a true in-state rivalry, and that's something that I kind of wish we had, but we certainly do have it in baseball. They've given us that.
And you know what, Bino? The fact that all three of these games are televised in a year where, hey, Berkey, are you listening? Why don't the Vols appear on television every once in a while? How many times, Berkey, do I got to look up and see South Carolina, who I think has a win? I think they have an SEC. I think South Carolina and Missouri, Berkey, between them have like 3 SEC wins, and they've had like 13 telecasts on the SEC. Hey, Berkey, do better. Do better, big boy. Chris Burke, I'm calling you. Do better. I'm calling you out. But to Bino's point about this series, you talking about it, and the thing I like about you, Billy, is you're very, very, very kind of caught like it is on this thing. There have been 3 series all year that I've made sure to watch, okay? This one, which hasn't happened yet, and I think if I was a fan just of the sport, I would look at these. That Arkansas-Texas game last week at Arkansas was phenomenal college baseball. And then a couple weeks ago when Texas and Texas A&M played, I sought that out. One or two of those games was over on the SEC Plus deal. But I can't think of many series in this league that are worth, no matter where the two teams are, that are worth looking at. Because fireworks are going to happen tonight. And again, if this Tennessee team doesn't play with some fire in their building this weekend, I don't know what the results will be, but if they look like they did on Sunday, I will officially bury them. I will be worried about them, and I will think they're done. Because if this doesn't bring it out in you, I don't know what will. Your thoughts on that, Billy? I think we're going to see some fireworks this weekend.
So too, and here's where you might see them. I think it's going to start tonight. You go back to last year, Game 3 of the series in Nashville. Tennessee had already won the series. J.D. Thompson on the mound. He goes out there and shoves, pitches the game of his life. And a couple weeks before, he had gotten caught with a foreign substance on his forearm, and was ejected from the game in the Florida series. And that never happened under Tim Corbin. I can't remember that ever happening, so that's why it was so surprising. But that was SEC league-wide news, and people are clowning him on Twitter. So Game 3 comes, he's shoving, he's pitching really well against Tennessee, and the Tennessee dugout is letting him hear it. They're mocking him about the foreign substance. And after an inning, I think it's the sixth inning maybe, he gets a fly out. He looks over to Tennessee's dugout and rubs his forearm and does a little money sign, and there's no way Tennessee liked that. They didn't win the game, but now he's pitching on Friday night tonight. The dugout's going to be letting him hear it again, and something's going to happen there. Number 2, Liam Doyle is Liam Doyle. I mean, he got ejected. He's a fiery guy. So something's going to happen between these two pitchers, and I can't wait to see what it is. But also Sunday, keep an eye on Connor Fennell. He likes to work really fast. And guys in the batter's box, as soon as you look at the pitcher can throw it. So as soon as the batter locks eyes with Fennell, he's throwing the ball. Vitello's not going to like that. There hasn't been a manager in the other dugout that has liked that. So keep an eye on that as well. Not to mention Marcus Phillips. You go back to the game in the SEC tournament last year in the semifinal. He had a little scuffle with one of the Vandy players down the first base line.
Yes.
There could be fireworks in all three games. Not to mention these guys know each other. They've played with each other before. But I also love SEC Network tonight. I don't know why it's at 5:30 Eastern. That's way too early. Tomorrow and Sunday, both on ESPN2. Tom Hart, Kyle Peterson, I want to say, is on the call, and then Jackie Bradley Jr. also. Yeah, so the eyes are going to be on it, and it's going to be big for the committee, too, to take a look at this series, a prime weekend, and say, okay, who won that one? They're going to have the edge. So it's so big, I can't wait. This is my first time coming to Knoxville for any Vanderbilt game. So I'm excited, and you never know what's going to come up, but there's going to be something.
Billy, I love you. You're my main man. I say more of you, less of that brain donor, Kelly Holcomb, who's literally a living brain donor. And I hope you have a Dwight Gooden. Thank you, brother.
Tony, thank you so much. I'll see you later.
The great Billy Derrick. He's heading this way right now, Bino. Billy, grade his order, if you will. Bino, are you ready? Because this is what Billy's going to eat when he gets here.
Okay.
Momentarily. Billy thinks he's going to get the full, red carpet rolled out. Billy's ordering the following. By the way, we're live today here at Calhoun's on the River. It's utterly next level, if not anything else. I might be looking at the wrong phone. Bino, do you like how I have two phones? Do you like when I text you from both phones, Bino? Are you for it or against it?
I'm used to it.
He's eating a hickory burger, medium well with fries. Grade his order, if you will, Bino. Because I will
burger,
medium well.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I'd have probably gone medium rather than medium well.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I'm not afraid.
So last week when I was going in for my procedure, I wasn't allowed to have fibrous stuff, so I had all meat, for 4 days. So I ate 2 burgers, well done. That's all you could have with cheese. I like them like hockey pucks. That's how I describe them to any server. Hockey pucks, please. I cook those things.
Don't like it.
Those things are so well done, Bino. You could literally use them as a projectile.
I don't like it.
And when I'm eating a marshmallow on the grill, Bino, burn, baby, burn.
Now,
Disco Inferno.
I can eat a burnt marshmallow. I can eat burnt toast.
There you go.
I don't cook all the flavor out of my meat.
All right, so let's get a brief timeout. I want to remind you, my friends here at Calhoun's, with Mother's Day here, here's the deal. They've got you covered. Moving right to left across your device, make a reservation right now at any of the Calhoun's locations. And remember, out in Oak Ridge, as Cool Young once said, my Korean friend in school, Oak Ridge, out in Oak Ridge and also down in Lenore City, they've got all day long the buffet. And I've been told, Bino, that buffet they lay out there on the special holidays is a sight to behold.
It's outstanding, Tony. Outstanding.
Every kind of meat.
For years and years, the Lenore City location had a buffet on Wednesday and Friday. So, I mean, you talk about a group that knows how to put out a spread. So, yeah, check it out. You will not be disappointed.
Laura, that kiss you just heard me give was not for a lady. That was for Reese Marie. Hey, you smell good, brah. What kind of cologne is that? That smells like Midnight Rendezvous you're wearing over there, brah. But I'm allowed to give. Am I allowed to kiss a guy, Bino? Is that all right with you?
Yeah, you're Italian.
That kid looks like a paisan himself. He looks like a young Dan Marino. That's what that kid looks like, Bino. Check him out.
Hadn't seen Reese in a number of years. He's a good-looking young man.
Bino, Chris Vanini has reported the following. This is a release from North Carolina Athletics. Bino, why do we like the Jordan Hudson story? Tell me why again.
I don't, Tony, but most do because it's a train wreck.
Love it. I love it. I love the Jordan Hudson story. Does that make me shallow and vapid and a professional wrestling fan?
No.
I'm all those things.
That doesn't make you that.
Chris Vanini reporting the following. Now we've got conflicting information coming out of the North Carolina family. You can't make this up. Here we go. Jordan Hudson. North Carolina says Jordan Hudson, despite contrary reports, is still welcome in the UNC football facility. And I quote, "While Jordan Hudson's not an employee at the university or Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facility. She will continue to manage all activities related to Bill Belichick's personal brand outside of his responsibilities for Carolina football and the university."
She'll just no longer be wearing a headset.
So, Bino, which one do you believe? That she's been excommunicated and thrown to the curb by Carolina Athletics, or that she's still in good standing and free to move about the cabin? Bino, where are you?
I believe the last report.
Me too. And the reason I believe the last report is I think this is what happened. The first report came. She called Bill Belichick and said, "Look, you sorry POS, you better get me reinstated by the end of today, or when you get home, you're going to face my wrath." And he got her reinstated. And that's about the size of that, Beanstar.
Yep.
As we continue on the other side, we come back. It is an unbelievable day. If you want to jump in with us, we're live today on the deck here. Calhoun's on the river before, during, and after today's game, before, during, after tomorrow's game, before, during, and after Sunday's game. All Mother's Day weekend long. A great and unbelievable choice for you. And we continue with more. Thank you, Billy Derrick, on the other side after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Your next opportunity to see your Knoxville Smokies in the brand new Covenant Health Park is next week. And what a week. Great promotions every night, including Thirsty Thursday with half-off drafts. And join Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the gang on Saturday. Our Sunday day game will be honoring our law enforcement. And don't forget, fireworks every Friday and Saturday night all season long. Get your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Peace of mind is priceless, especially when it comes to your home safety and your family's comfort. That's why the pros at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling created the Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan. Preventative maintenance for HVAC and plumbing is like changing your vehicle's oil, and experts recommend scheduling regular system checks to keep everything running smoothly. With Peace of Mind, you can safeguard your home from unexpected costly breakdowns and repairs. You'll get tons of benefits, including full system checks on HVAC and plumbing systems, water heater flushes, sewer camera inspection, 10% automatic discount on repairs, priority bookings, no service fees, and much more. Monthly service plans are as low as $20.25 per month, and total annual services are valued at over $1,500. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to sign up or schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey,
Advent
whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's national award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from B. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Tony B back with you, 865-200-5402. Lines are wide open for you. Bino, are you worried about this series, truthfully? Right now, are you worried about this series?
I think it's going to be a really good series. Like I said, I think this is the style of team that scares me a little bit because of some of our deficiencies. But I think it's going to be a super baseball series. And I think this is where we kind of get back on track, is this weekend. I think we're going to win 2 out of 3.
Tony B with you, 865-200-5402. It is unbelievable, Andy. The thing about this series, Bino, that scares me, and I was just telling a couple gentlemen this, I don't know. How do I say this out loud without sounding alarmist? I question whether this Tennessee team has it this year, Bino.
Well,
and I think you got to have and I don't mean. I think you got to have a little edge to you.
It's reasonable to question that, Tony. I mean, they've lost 3 home series. The only time in Vitello's tenure here that they've lost 3 home series. So this is a different deal. But again, we finally got a mortal baseball team. I don't know what they've been doing over here all these previous years, but what we've been watching isn't real baseball.
It's not real life in that sport.
It's just not. It's not. And regardless of what happens this weekend, the main thing is still the main thing. You've done enough work to qualify to get into the NCAA tournament, and you just have to be playing your best baseball at that time. But at some point, the light has to come on. You have to start swinging the bat. You have to start making a play here and there.
Play with some edge. Play with some edge. I saw.
Again, I know you and I are on different pages of this one.
Yeah.
I just think your edge comes from who you have on the mound or how you're swinging the bat. I don't think it's anything that you can. I don't think it's anything that you can manufacture.
That's a really interesting thing because the kid that pitches tonight, that freaking guy.
Yeah.
See, me and Berkey were talking off the air, and he said, imagine you're sitting out there in college baseball right now, and we'll get Tony in here momentarily. Imagine you're sitting there in college baseball, and you're had a nice year. And here comes Tennessee into your super regional.
Yeah.
And you look up, and you got to deal with those 2 starting pitchers, that full array of potential very good players. That's a pretty serious draw right there. But let's go back to the phones. Let's get Tony in here. I just want to see this team play with some. And me and Bino are different here, but I want to see this team play with some fire this weekend. I want to see them meet the moment from that perspective. Tony, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Tom? What's up, Bino? How y'all doing, man?
Hey, Tony, doing good. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, T.
Yeah, it's been a while since I talked to you guys. Hey, man, I'm sorry to change the subject, but I've had this on my mind for a while, and I just haven't been able to get in. once the whole Nico thing went down, they were talking about how this guy was getting kind of itchy in December. And, man, you can't keep a secret in today's world, especially amongst young people with social media. And what I really wanted to ask you guys is the mass departure of wide receivers. Do you feel like word was kind of getting out that this guy was getting itchy to leave? And also, do you think that those receivers knew that this guy couldn't really play based on what they saw during the season? Maybe they felt like they weren't really going to get the exposure they wanted and the targets that they wanted because the guy couldn't play, and all we were going to do is run the football. And that's been on my mind for a couple of weeks, man. What do y'all think about that?
I think that's a really interesting thing you bring up because it's almost like what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Right, Bino? How do you respond to that?
I don't know, Tony. It's thought-provoking. I keep going through my head here that the receivers that we lost, other than Squirrel White, I'm not sure that I think it's more that they thought that there were people in front of them that they were not going to be able to unseat. And those guys did not leave. So I don't know. I don't know which it is.
Yeah, maybe I'm underestimating this new college football world and these guys are just seeing dollar signs, But it is an interesting thing to think about, but you're probably right, Bino. I'm probably overlooking the money that was on the table for some of those guys, but it's certainly interesting for sure. And I hope that I hope that this guy can push the ball down the field and be responsible with the football, because I think if he can do those two things, man, I feel like Heupel's offense kind of, I saw a graphic the other day on some other podcast, and the touchdown to interception ratio under Heupel is really fantastic, man. We're talking 30-5. That's probably about the average, honestly, with several different quarterbacks, even going back to Missouri. So if they can protect this guy and he can hit you think about it, guys. If Nico hits half the deep balls that he missed, he's probably got 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
The most interesting thing that's going to come that we're going to see, Tony, is who is Joey closer to? Is he going to be closer to the guy that played 2 years ago, that basically played really well? Or the guy that played last year that did not?
Well, the other thing that's really interesting, guys, and I can't get this out of my head, but this Heupel, his whole tenure has not made sense with the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Could this be another situation where a guy that's thrown upon him explodes in his offense? And let me tell you something. The way college football is, that is possible. A guy with
I heard
limited,
you say that a couple weeks ago, Tony. You're right.
And it's a weird thing with Heupel. These wide receivers that they pick out of high school don't work. These guys they find in the portal almost tend to. These these quarterbacks that they go all in on don't work. This hooker guy you didn't want did things at our school that I don't know we'll ever see again. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. It's so strange.
It really is, man, and maybe that's what we got to hold on to, because I don't want to sacrifice the season, man. And if they do this 16 deal, man, I feel like we ought to roll out of bed and get in there with the money that we have. And one more quick thing, and I'll let you guys go about Aguilar. I guarantee you, he's never had 5-star bookends in his life. And he's going to be surrounded by much better coaching and much better talent all the way around. And, man, maybe we can get 9. 9 might get you in 16 from the SEC, But anyway, guys, y'all have a super blessed weekend, and God bless you guys.
Thank you, Ted.
Thanks, Tony.
865-200-5402. Yeah, the question becomes, and we'll talk about this on Monday now that you're going to get a chance to digest this, but the question becomes, how many times should Tennessee make a playoff in a 5-year span with them opening the scope to 16? Because I think there are years where 9-3 is going to get you into the playoff under this deal. A lot of the time. Let's get Taylor in here and then Freddie. And Taylor, welcome in. You're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Bino. Hey, Tony. Billy Derrick got me fired up, focused, and prepared for this weekend series. He was outstanding, next level, Tony.
I love him. He's a really talented young broadcaster. He's just out of college, and he's got a really bright future.
Yeah, he's going to be next level. Who knew that Bo Derrick's grandson would be so talented in media and covering Vanderbilt? Tony, no, seriously, he's next level. Tony, this Vanderbilt pitcher and I think the Georgia pitcher last season were both caught with that spider tack on their hands, which allows you to really manipulate the spin rate, and it's absolutely cheating. And they're the reasons for this new rule where every time a pitcher comes to the mound or exits the mound, they check him for a foreign substance. I think he's a disgrace. And as Billy said, the amount of chirping that's going to happen, because I remember when that punkin clown walked off the mound last year, rubbing his forearms and doing the money sign. I tell you what, there's going to be some theatrics tonight, my friend.
I'm for it. And we better show some life tonight, T. I know Bino doesn't like me saying that. Some other people don't. You got to push back. You got to meet the moment. And I'm not talking about like hitting a bunch of home runs. I'm talking about showing some fire. This team is not showing fire, T. They're just not.
Tony, you know who has shown fire recently and has been another coach on the field that Tony Vols called out? Would you guess who that might be?
Who dat?
His name is Dalton. The name is Dalton Bargo, Tony. He has absolutely flipped a switch, and Tony Vols called him out. He's being fiery. He's a coach on the field. He gets up in everybody's ear, and it's good to see. I think with him and Inslee, you need that, because Drew Gilbert's not walking out of that clubhouse anytime soon, Tony. We need some fire. We need some leadership. Inslee, Bargo, and the 1-year Liam Dole is exactly what we need to start this off Friday night. If I was Danny Dollar, as W. Lynn, who is an absolute Hall of Fame caller, although this whole no babies allowed is a little mystifying, kind of comical. But, Tony, if I was Danny Dollar, I'd have orange T-shirts handed out to every student Saturday. I'd have gift certificates for $5 drinks and hot dogs. I would bend over backwards this weekend to make the students feel special and give them extra motivation to be extra loud. We need an environment at Lindsey Nelson like the old days, when it was a hornet's nest, when it was loud and proud, when we had, probably a scout told me, a cross-checker who goes to all the colleges across the country a couple of years ago, he said pound for pound, Lindsey Nelson is the loudest college stadium he's been to, and he's been to all of them. Dudley Noble, Swayze, you name it. And we need that back, Tony. This is transition year with that stadium looking like a construction zone. But there's no excuse. We've got the weather. We've got the students on campus. We've got our biggest rival this weekend. It better be loud. It better be proud. I'll guarantee you, Tony, that team is going to be fired up, focused, prepared, engaged, and they're going to be fiery. And I'm there to see it, Tony. I'm driving up from the ATL right now, and your boy Billy got me super excited.
Thank you, brother. Good talking to you. You're the man.
GBO.
Let me do this. GBO to you. VIP play Will Heflin, and then we're going to jump Fab 5 Freddy in here, but let me introduce VIP play Will Heflin, who now joins on our TLD Logistics hotline. All calls appear on the TLD Logistics phone lines today. Our number, if you want to get in, is 865-200-5402. We're on the deck here at Calhoun's on the River. There's a very, very smart family out there posing for photographs with the Fighting Chapmans of Cocke County. These people, these Fighting Chapmans, are severe celebrities in our midst. Let's, without further ado, bring VIP play Will Heflin in here, and then I'm going to bring Fab Five Freddy in here. We're going to have a meeting of the minds, a melding of four minds, see if we can make some beautiful harmonies like the Four Tops back in the day. I will be Levi Stubbs. Bino, who are you going to be? You're going to be Obi in that group, right?
Okay, all right.
All right, let's bring Will Heflin in here. Will, are you fired up, focused, and prepared right now for what's about to be with this series?
I am. I caught the end of your last caller, and I was like, you know what? I'm fired up, focused, and prepared, too. We might as well all be.
Who would have ever thought we'd be quoting Philip Fulmer's slogan from many, 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 many years ago? But, Will, you know, the bottom line is this, man. I'm not going to say it's now or never because this is a postseason sport. But I'm proud of you for, on Sunday's edition of Garza Law Extra Innings, for saying what you said about this team, which is they don't believe in momentum. Because that Game 3 answer after that weird Game 2, and granted, that series took forever to play last weekend with all the fits and stops and starts and all that stuff. But, man, they better come with some more juice tonight.
I agree. And I like the idea on the, extra incentives for the students, whatever that needs to be. Figure out what will get them fired up, focused, and prepared, and get them out there. Get that place loud. I think it's definitely, being a transition phase that there's, it's not perfect, but there's still a lot more people at the stadium than ever before. Like it holds more, and attendance has been great. It just needs to have that hornet's nest feel to it. And I think part of that comes from the team, allowing the fans to get into that mode. And,
that's right.
I think they kind of feed off of each other. But, when the team needs a little uplifting, then we as spectators and supporters of the team need to do our part and see if we can't help them pull themselves out of whatever this little rut is. But yeah, I talked about it Sunday. I was extremely surprised and just scratching my head at how that was the way the game played out after you won the weird one on Sunday morning, the carryover from Saturday. I just thought, that kind of momentum you just had to grab and take, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the game, but just to be completely flat was, we've talked about it enough. That was super frustrating. But like you said, it's not now or never, but to get what you want for the postseason, which is to play at home, it is now or never. You have to win this series. Because you can kiss hosting regionals goodbye if you don't win this series.
He's VIP play Will Heflin. I'll let him tell you about what's getting ready to happen with VIP play here momentarily because this thing's exciting. Without further ado, though, let me bring another, because Will's a talented broadcaster. Another guy for years and years and years I've been wanting to drag on this side of the microphone. He won't do it, but this is Bino's kin, and we call him Fabulous, Fabulous, Fredulous. This is a meeting of the alleged minds. This is like the Wonder Twin powers reactivating. Fabulous, 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 Fredulous. Welcome in, brother. How you doing?
What you say, man?
Brother, you're incredible. Hope all's well in your world.
Well, to be truthful, Tony, you ought to just let Will keep going. Nobody wants to hear me when he's been on there. Good Lord.
No way. Absolutely no way. You're going to take this kid under wings right now. He will be under wings.
Yeah.
So go ahead, my man.
Well, for the last at least 4.5 years, I've kind of set my whole schedule around this Tennessee baseball team because they mean that much. Well, baseball's really the only sport I really care about, but I'm gonna be truthful with you, Tony. I'm to the point where I dread the games coming, and it's just simply because there's nothing more in sports I love than good baseball, and there's nothing more I hate worse than bad baseball. And baseball's such a razor's edge game, and it's always on the razor's edge. And But let me say this real quick. A sweep this weekend, and all of a sudden, the sun will be bright, everything will be wonderful. It's time to go to Omaha, and on and on and on.
And then they said amen.
Amen. And I'll tell you something.
And then they said amen. Hey, Tony, you know what is very close in my mind to, sloppy baseball? Missed tackling. I know we're talking about baseball, and I agree, but I don't know that there's that's got to be a close second for me personally. You got somebody coming in the A gap, and you're constantly missing tackles, and that'll drive you up a wall too. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, the difference is, Will, if Herschel Walker's coming through there, there's going to be a lot of missed tackles. But there's no excuse for not making routine plays in baseball. So.
Hey, here's the thing, Freddie.
Yeah.
Brian Hartman texted me this the other day. It's the truth. One thing I said on here down through the years, there's nothing worse in sports than bad boring. This baseball team all of a sudden has been playing bad, boring baseball. I don't know how that's happened. They need to quit playing bad, boring baseball. But that bad, boring is something I never thought I'd say about a Tony Vitello team, but that's the truth. They've been bad and kind of boring. And, Bino, does that offend you, me saying that? Hold your thought, because we're about out of time to the radio listener. We're going to continue this fun and frivolity for a few more minutes, and then Bino and I are going to eat our delicious, nutritious lunch from right here at Calhoun's on the river. I want to thank them. I love you. I appreciate you for listening. Check us out at tclub.team. The blog is there. Check us out. Matt Dixon reigns and shines like the sun in the middle of the day. We love you. God bless. GBO. TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime on the way next.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Start those engines, ladies and gentlemen, and race fans. Race fans. Race fans.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, presented by TLD Logistics. Online at tldlogistics.com.
All right, Bino, Jeff Henderson.
And now,
thank you, Connexial Kristen. Fab Five Freddy said that he's found himself kind of dreading watching this team, and I've sort of felt that way the past couple weeks, and I don't feel like a front runner saying that because they've just been so... This weekend scares me because Vanderbilt's going to put the baseball in play. I should never feel that way about my team when they're an upper-level team, that I'm afraid of the ball being put in play. I told you off the air for the Kentucky series, this is not about me, but Bino will say,
yeah,
I was dreading that series because Kentucky was going to put the ball in play. They were going to make our third baseman make plays, and he was going to struggle to do it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. No offense to anybody involved here. I'm calling it like I love Tony Vitello. I'm for him, not against him. Brian said to me off the air, Tony, this team is devolving into bad, boring. Your brother just said it. How do you plead?
Oh, I think what we're learning here is that when you have a team that doesn't just go out there and bash people, that doesn't hit 100 home runs a year, when you're a mortal baseball team the way we are, you have to do those little things that we don't do, and we haven't done.
Yes.
I mean, we haven't been a great fielding team the whole time they've been here.
Right.
I don't know if they don't stress it enough or what. We don't hold runners on, and there's a theory out there that they don't score a whole lot of extra runs, and they probably don't. But when you have 13 wild pitches or whatever we have, then you allow people to play something that's not sound baseball, like stealing third base with 2 outs,
right?
Which is not sound baseball, never has been sound baseball,
right?
Never will be sound baseball.
Right.
But when you give it to them, then why shouldn't they take it? And especially when you can't keep the ball in front of the catcher. So we're learning we better learn to do the little things for the times when we don't bash people at the plate.
And I wonder if Tony and Will, I want you to chime in on this, because you had a guy ask you the first show you had, because I'm listening intently to you, Will, because I learned stuff from Will Heflin, who does Garza Law extra innings after every series ends, so he'll be here on Sunday, and then next week after the Arkansas game, after that third game, he's on. And then after every postseason game, he's going to be with you as well. SEC tournament right through the NCAA tournament, hopefully a long run, hopefully all the way to Omaha. But, Will, a guy called you up and said, why don't we slide step? And you said, look, it's just not in Frank Anderson's philosophy. They want you working to the plate. Essentially, they're going to surrender you running the bases. It's just the calculation they made. But as a former pitcher, Will, and I haven't asked you this, is it frustrating? Is it frustrating for you to? Is it frustrating for you to, Will, to watch it and to have it happen to you? Talk to me.
Well, I don't know if I'm the most equipped to answer this because I threw from the left side, and so slide stepping wasn't something that I ever needed to do to control the run game. I surrendered one stolen base my senior year, and it was to Kentucky, which is not surprising to anyone. You know who we need to have on? We need to have VFL Zach Lingenfelter on this Sunday, Tony, because he was very slow to the plate, like Marcus Phillips level slow. And he was a similar pitcher, power guy, 95, 98 miles an hour, hard slider, and he got ran on all the time. And it was just one of those things where that was the trade-off for him not sacrificing the big stuff. And Dolander and Burns come to mind. They were both slow. It's really an individualized thing, and they leave it solely up to the pitcher. But there's certain situations, and we talked about this, and like I agree with Bino, there's certain situations where you just cannot completely give it away. And I think, you know, these little things are things that we brush over when things are going well and they overcome them because they're really talented and they're just bashing people. You know, I don't know if it's not a case where they start swinging it a little bit better, they start feeling a little bit better on the mound, and some of these little things clean themselves up because the overall environment of the team is in a better spot. It's really a compounded thing. They're frustrated from their at bat. They're frustrated with how their pitches are going, and so these little things are the first thing to go, or the second thing to go right after that when things are frustrating, on a larger scale. So it's easy for us in frustration to point to the little things, and I'm not saying they're not important because they are, but I also don't know if things are going a little better, does some of this get cleaned up?
Yeah,
Bino?
That's a thing. Well, no, you're right. When things are not going well, like Freddie said, and it becomes like Freddie. That thing I was telling your brother off the air just now when Will was talking, and Will knows I do that. And I'm sorry for that. But this is just a point to be made here. When they had that sequence last week happen where the catcher throws a guy out at second and they don't get him because they don't get the tag down. And then, because Will was talking about this on the post game, and then the third baseman's out of position. He doesn't get the tag down because they don't. Generally, it's like almost like it's not worked on, which is kind of frustrating.
Well, here's my thing, and I'll let Fred. And I've said this 2 or 3 times. Yeah. I don't pretend to know as much about what you should be doing with your pitchers as Frank Anderson knows.
Right.
But if you're going to do that, if you're just going to give away stolen bases, then don't put your catcher in a precarious situation. Just tell him. We're pounding the strike zone here. We're not holding anybody on. You don't need to throw. Take the ball, throw it right back to the pitcher, and we'll get the next out.
Well, Bino, the case you're referring to, that was what was called, and it wasn't executed properly. There was not supposed to be a throw there.
Wow. So these guys are so competitive, they're going to throw down. Yeah. I don't blame them.
Well, no, I just think it got set up, and that was a mistake.
Well, it's wild, guys. Fab Five, anything else for us? Because I'm standing with you. And look, I love this guy. I love this era of baseball. I'm not saying this team's not fighting, but man, that Friday night game with LSU, and I was up at 2:00 in the morning watching that. I was texting with Will, in fact. It was, I mean, that's got to be gut-wrenching for that team to have something like that happen, but that's been the season they've had so far, and they're still coming into the weekend, Fab Five, in contention to host the Super Regional. That's how good their start was.
Yeah, it's a racer's edge game. And let me say 2 or 3 real quick things, and I'll get out of here. I want to listen to y'all, and I can't hardly hear on this phone. I've conjured up all kinds of reasons to be unhappy right now about it. Most of the teams in the SEC are playing a 27-game SEC schedule, and Tennessee and about 5 others are playing a 30-game schedule because that Missouri team's abysmal. And I started thinking that the Azuna guy that was on your show on Wednesday, such an impressive dude. And I'm sure Tony just feels bad about the whole situation, the process and all of that. But he also feels bad when he looks out at that infield and thinks he could have Azuna on first, have number 11 switch back over to third, Fisher, and then, you know, kind of finagle the middle till you get that right. So I'm sure that weighs on him. And it sure would be nice to have him out there.
Tony is still pretty urinated off about it. You brought up something, and Will shared this with me, Bino. Look at these records in the league. If you take, and thank you, Fab Five. Love you, brother. You take the 3 Arkansas games out of everybody's equation.
Missouri?
I mean, the 3 Missouri games. I'm sorry. Wishful thinking on my part. The 3 Missouri games out of everybody's schedule. Texas is 16-5. They're still great. Arkansas is still 14-7. Tennessee sitting there at 14-10, third in the league with Vanderbilt. Those 2 teams, neither of whom played Missouri. So Freddie brings a great point up. The Vols are 4th in the league in the standings. Georgia's 5th. Georgia loses their wins against them. Auburn, who did not play them, has 13 wins. And Oklahoma's sitting there at 10-11. If you take their so the bottom line is this. That might, if Tennessee can get to 2-1 this weekend and win a game next week, that might help them host a Super.
Yeah,
it might be a blessing in disguise to have not played them. Will, how do you think the committee is going to deal with that? Say the Vols come out and have a good weekend this weekend, and they're able to play like they know and get 2 out of 3. Does the committee punish the teams that saw Missouri, Will?
Yeah, they do, if it's worth being punished. And by that I just mean that if it's borderline, let's say Tennessee and who's around them? I guess Oklahoma. Let's say Oklahoma ends up, they have 2 good weekends. Tennessee and Oklahoma, who didn't play each other, end up with very similar RPIs and SEC records. Tennessee's going to get that nod. I have 0 doubt about that.
Or Georgia. Georgia's right there, too. Georgia's laying there, who did not appear on Tennessee's schedule. They're a good example. The Vols have 14 wins. Georgia has 12. If you take, 15 looking at it right now, but really 12. Really 12.
True. And if they end up close, that one's a little tougher to decipher because Georgia had to go to Texas when Texas was rolling. And so I think you kind of give them a little bit of a pass there. Kind of like Tennessee series loss at LSU. You get a little pass for that. Really, in the grand scheme of things, you actually get a star for not getting swept. And I know that's not the standard at Tennessee, but that's the reality. If we're just talking about what the committee is looking at in terms of resumes, not getting swept on the road against really good opponents is helpful. And so, I only say that to say Georgia will kind of get the dock them a point for Missouri and give them a point back because they had to go on the road to Texas. But ultimately, I just think they'll evaluate case by case, matchup by matchup, kind of how we're doing right now. And it may be more clear after 2 more weeks where it doesn't matter. But if it's really close, I can almost say confidently they started talking about that when Missouri was like 0-15. And now they're 0-24, and it doesn't look like, it'd take a miracle for them to win one game at this point. And so I think, if they're really getting nitty gritty on 2 teams and it's tight, having not played Missouri will help Tennessee in that scenario. But, if somebody's 2 games up on us and 2 of those, 3 of those wins are Missouri, I don't know if that's enough to sway it. But, if the records are within 1 game of each other and the RPIs aren't very much different, then that may give Tennessee the benefit of the doubt in that scenario.
Will, tell the living listener about VIP play, and then I want a prediction out of you for what's going to happen. The great Will Heflin, who will be with us Sunday on Garza Law Extra Innings. And Beanstar himself was bragging on you. I hope your ears were burning at how great of a job actually you're doing on Sunday. But that kid's he's doing the board, doing the whole thing, answering the calls, the whole deal.
Makes me mad to even think about it, Tony. You can just walk in there and do that.
All right, Willie, tell them about VIP play because the Eagle's about to land.
Yeah, y'all are too nice. The Eagle is very, very close to landing. That's all I can say. It is extremely close. We will have more information come Monday. But it's going to be awesome. I'm already in the thing. It is so close to being ready. It's going to be a state-of-the-art sports book. 200-plus leagues you want to bet on. We're going to do stuff that other books aren't doing with daily specials and being able to create bets that you can't find at other books. If you need a line and you can't find it, you can get it at VIP Play. It'll be made for you, and I think that is a huge competitive advantage. And you guys know I'm a numbers guy. I get all nitty-gritty into this stuff. I love it, so I'm excited to be a part of it. But I also just like talking ball with people who like talking ball, and so I'm excited to get this thing rolling and have customers to talk to and work with and serve. And so we'll make our big announcement when that time comes. But Tony, we can both confidently say it is extremely, extremely soon.
Oh, man. Go ahead, Bino.
Well, this is not going to cause any celebration at your corporate office, but especially a nickel and dimer hind end like mine. But because of you, I have closed out my former account, and I'm coming to VIP.
Boom!
I appreciate that. We just, it doesn't matter how much you bet. Everybody's going to be treated like a VIP. That's my sales pitch of the day.
Hey, Will, you're going to love this. So on the way out, I want you to tell him the Heavy story. Heavy Burger, who wanted a line set.
Yeah,
this is the
my
most
brother Freddie
classic.
Had a good friend that everybody called Heavy because he couldn't remember anybody else's name, so he called everybody Heavy, so they called him Heavy. Big gambler, loved it. I mean, retired, betting his retirement check, whatever he needed to do. Back in the old days when you had to do it through a bookie. So he calls a local bookie there in Oak Ridge on a Friday night, and he says, "Hey, what's the line on Oak Ridge football game?" And the bookie told him, "Heavy, there aren't any lines on high school football games. What's wrong with you?" He said, "Dang, I just want to bet on them." He said, "Well, I'll make up a line for you, Heavy. The line is Oak Ridge. It's a 14.5-point favorite." Heavy said, "Okay, give me 50 on Oak Ridge." And the bookie told my brother that about an hour later the phone rang and it was Heavy. He was wanting to know if the line had moved.
Hey,
what did he tell him?
Yeah, I don't think he told him anything. I think he just hung up.
Hey, Willie, look forward to seeing you Sunday. When we meet on Sunday, will this be a successful weekend for our baseball volunteers, yes or no?
Guys, it's going to turn. It's going to turn for this coaching staff and this roster. It's too good not to. Baseball, in a 162-game Major League schedule, you're going to have slumps. And Tennessee, as a unit, has been in a little bit of a slump. Whether or not there's enough time in the season left to get out of the slump We'll find out. I do this every week, but I have good historical data to back me up on this. I feel good every time Tennessee goes into a series at home. I know they've lost 3 straight at home, but if you're a believer in the due factor, they are due. And I feel good, man. I think Vanderbilt ends up being the perfect opponent for them to take some of the attention off of all the little stuff, and I think they just go out there and compete like hell and take at least 2 from these guys over in Nashville, or from over in Nashville. And I'm not just saying that as a homer or a fan, but if I was on the outside looking in, I would say not the best time on the schedule for Vanderbilt to come to Knoxville. They probably would have preferred it a couple weeks ago.
No doubt about it, because if we don't see some serious oomph out of Tennessee this weekend, I will be highly concerned. Bino, love you, brother. Give me a final thought, and Will, thank you. I look forward to seeing you Sunday, Willie.
Just another great.
Guys. I'll see you Sunday.
Thank you.
Hey,
Willie.
thanks, Will. Appreciate just another great Friday here at Calhoun, Tony. Appreciate all the folks coming out. We've had a great crowd. And it's the last home series of the season, and there's a whole lot riding on it.
And the next time we're back out here to be the postseason on the Friday, when this team's going to host in the playoffs, you heard it here first. And we will be out here on that glory day, because you better get ready for love on that glory day. I want to thank my friends at TLD Logistics. They're online at tldlogistics.com. It's incredible. Jim Peters, you'll be on the porch tonight. I'll be playing music. It'll be insane. Hopefully the Vols are making some sweet music against a team from the Music City. And Bino, you're the greatest. Are you looking forward? Look at this Billy Derrick kid, Bino. Look how good looking that kid is.
Man.
Gaw! So cool looking.
I'm over here looking like the Pope.
Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, I want to thank Pope Bino, or Bino Pope.
Pope.
Thank you to Calhoun's on the River. Remember, the buffet is going to be at Lenoir City, also in Oak Ridge, 2 of Bino's hangouts, and then you make reservations anywhere else at several of the Calhoun's locations near you across our area for Mother's Day. We love you. God bless. G to the B to the O. Hey, and praise God from a man, Bino. Peace.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB.